Well, welcome to British TV and stuff again.
Hello.
So, today we're going to be showing you two medieval weapons that you've probably never heard of and are actually cool and mostly effective. Yeah.
Really effective, yeah.
I think they're effective and they kind of look weird, but they're still cool.
They're really cool weapons. So, why are we going to sit here and ramble like we normally do? We're not going to do that. We're going to go straight to the point.
Yes. Both me and Brendan will present a weapon, so be prepared.
Be prepared.
So, the weapon I'm going to be talking about is called the Sword Breaker. And there's two different versions of it. There's the English version, which was really like a dagger with little ridges in it, which is the one we'll be focusing on. And then there was like an Asian one, where it's basically like an actual battering thing that was actually meant to break swords. But the one we're focusing on didn't really break swords, and more of caught them. It would probably more accurately be called the Sword Catcher, but Sword Breaker sounds like way cooler. So, it was often used with a sword, a specific kind of sword, and you would have, with this sword, it was a one-handed sword, so you weren't supposed to have, you would have this hand free, and they were like, oh, what are we going to do with this hand? Well, they used a dagger. So, but they were like, how are we going to make this dagger better? Well, they put little ridges on it, so someone would go to attack you, and you would catch the sword in the little ridges, and they wouldn't be able to attack you, and you would probably go to stab them or slash them. So it was pretty effective. I don't know about in a giant war, if you're surrounded by lots of people, you'd probably want something more like a shield. But in this scenario, it'd be really, really effective. So, in the Chinese one, it was more of like a battering ram thing. So basically, you were literally supposed to, someone would attack you, and then you would hit the sword, and it could possibly break. Or at least stun them or something. So anyways, I think this weapon would be very effective, and even by itself it would be effective, because, well, it's still a dagger, so you could stab someone or slash someone, and you could hide it pretty well. So, this has been the Sword Breaker. On to Brendan!
So, you know what? There's a weapon out there that actually exists. And this weapon is really cool if you think about it. And it's sometimes a weapon of most people's wildest dreams. And no, I'm not talking about some sort of fancy pulls my gun or anything. I'm talking about medieval. Anyway, so this weapon was probably created by some sort of guy that had the idea or the experience of fighting with a pistol, and had a sword. So you would grab the pistol, and pistols were like one shot forever reload type of weapon, and the sword was just, handy. It was right there. You just drew it, fought, and the sword would be with you for the most part of your fighting. But one guy, I'm sure, had the idea of, you know what? How about we add a gun and a sword together? And what do you know? There came the gun sword, which is actually really smart, in opinion. But if you think about it, having a sword and a gun, if you try and aim with that, that's not the best way to shoot a gun, because you have a long pointy sword at the end. When you're pointing it at somebody, you have sort of a thing pulling your gun barrel down to the ground. So it's much more of a two-handed fire, and then you fight. But the idea was really smart because it was just, one shot, and then you wouldn't have to go, if you had a revolver and sword, it wouldn't be draw a sword, shoot, shove it back in, and then try to grab your sword as fast as you can. It would just be shoot, and then you don't have to go. And it's you can immediately go for a stab or a slash. But later on, past the medieval era, they started to create more of revolver daggers and revolver swords, which were really cool back then, in my opinion. Yeah, guys, of course, we've enjoyed this episode. This has been a much shorter episode than we normally do, guys. So, Be prepared for our next episode that will be coming out next week, hopefully.
Yes, and I hope you learned something, and I hope we entertained you. So, peace out, homies.
Peace out, yo.
What, dog? What's up, dog? Yeah. What?
telling you who
Play it right now. Do it.